Hello and a very warm welcome to Grow English Mastery. My name is Scarlett, and I am so glad you have chosen to join me today for a lesson that dives right into the heart of the global economy. Yesterday, on July 9th, 2025, the international financial markets sent out a clear and powerful warning signal. As the trade war initiated by the United States continues to intensify, investors around the world are growing more and more nervous. The signs of this anxiety are appearing in the one place that affects every single one of us, no matter where we live, the value of our money. Today, we are going to break down the events that happened yesterday. We will explore what a trade war actually is, how it is affecting global currencies like the US dollar and the Japanese yen, and what this all means for the global economy. And we will try to answer the big, worrying question that is on everyone's mind. Are these events pushing the world closer to a new global recession? Our learning goals for today are to make these complex economic ideas simple and clear. First, we will understand the real-world impact of a trade war by looking at a specific news event. Second, we will learn and explore 10 essential vocabulary words that are key to understanding financial news. Third, we will master 2 crucial grammar points that are used constantly in this context: the difference between the active and passive voice, and the language of cause and effect. And finally, you'll get some practical tips on how you can apply these skills yourself. This is a lesson about the interconnectedness of our world. It will show you how a political decision in one country can create ripples that are felt in the bank accounts of people thousands of miles away. Let's get started. Part 1. What is a trade war? Before we dive into the specific news from yesterday, let's make sure we understand the central concept. What is a trade war? Imagine 2 large and popular coffee shops on the same street. Let's call them Shop A and Shop B. They are competitors, but they also buy some supplies from each other. One day, the owner of Shop A decides he wants his shop to be more successful, so he does something aggressive. He tells all of his employees that they are not allowed to buy coffee from Shop B anymore. In response, the owner of Shop B gets angry and does the same thing. Then, Shop A starts a rumor that Shop B's coffee is bad. Shop B retaliates by lowering its prices to steal customers from Shop A. Soon, they are not focused on serving their customers anymore. They are focused on hurting each other. Their fight makes the whole street feel tense and unpleasant. They are in a small coffee war. A trade war is just like this, but on a global scale between countries. It's a situation where one country tries to damage another country's trade by imposing barriers. The most common weapon in a trade war is a tariff. A tariff is a tax that a government puts on goods that are imported from another country. For example, if the US puts a 25% tariff on cars made in Japan, it makes those Japanese cars more expensive for American consumers to buy. The goal is to encourage Americans to buy American-made cars instead. But what usually happens? The other country retaliates. Japan might then put a new tariff on American products, like iPhones or American beef. This tit-for-tat escalation, where each side hits back harder, is the essence of a trade war. It can slow down international trade, make products more expensive for everyone, and create a huge amount of uncertainty in the global economy. Part 2. Yesterday's news, the warning signal. Now let's look at the specific news from the Reuters article on July 9th. The headline was about the global currency market. A currency is the type of money used in a particular country, like the US dollar, the Japanese yen, or the Vietnamese dong. The currency market is where these currencies are bought and sold, and their values change every second. The key piece of news was this: the US dollar gained value, becoming stronger against the Japanese yen. This means that on that day, you needed more Japanese yen to buy $1 than you did the day before. While this might sound like a small, technical detail, financial experts see it as a major indicator of global fear. Why? Because typically, in times of global economic uncertainty, both the US dollar and the Japanese yen are considered safe haven currencies. A safe haven is a place or an investment where your money is expected to be safe during a crisis. So, usually, when investors are scared, they buy both dollars and yen. But yesterday, they were primarily buying dollars and selling yen. This indicates that the current trade war, which has been intensified by the United States, is making investors so nervous that they see the US dollar as the only truly safe place to park their money. It's a sign that fear is increasing in the global market. Part 3. The safe haven dollar and its ripple effects. Let's explore this safe haven idea a bit more. Imagine you are in a crowded movie theater and someone shouts, "Fire!" What happens? Everyone, in a panic, will run towards the exit doors. They won't stop to analyze the situation. They will just run for safety. In the global economy, when a crisis or a period of high uncertainty begins, the exit door for many big investors is the US dollar. They sell their investments in other countries, their stocks, their bonds, and they use that money to buy US dollars or US government bonds. They do this because the United States has the largest and most stable economy in the world, and they believe their money will be safest there. This creates a huge demand for US dollars, and just like with any product, when demand goes up, the price goes up. So, the value of the dollar gets stronger. But a strong dollar creates its own set of problems. This is what we call the ripple effect. First, it makes American products more expensive for people in other countries. If the dollar is strong, a person in Japan needs to spend more yen to buy an iPhone. This can hurt American export companies, as they may sell fewer products. Second, it can create huge problems for foreign governments and companies that have borrowed money in US dollars. If their own currency gets weaker, their dollar-denominated debt suddenly becomes much larger and harder to repay. This can lead to financial crises in other countries. In short, the flight to safety that makes the dollar stronger can, ironically, create more instability throughout the rest of the world. Now, to help us discuss these complex topics, let's learn some essential vocabulary. Here are 10 key financial terms. 1. Trade war noun phrase. A situation where countries try to damage each other's trade by imposing tariffs and other barriers. Spelling TRADEWAR. Example 1. The escalating trade war is making investors nervous. Example 2. No one truly wins in a global trade war. Usage tip. This term implies a back-and-forth retaliation, not just a one-sided action. 2. Tariff noun. A tax imposed by a government on imported goods. Spelling TARIF. Example 1. The government announced new tariffs on steel and aluminum. Example 2. The purpose of a tariff is to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. 3. Currency noun. The system of money used in a particular country. Spelling CURENCY. Example 1. The US dollar and the Japanese yen are two of the world's major currencies. Example 2. When you travel, you often have to exchange your currency. 4. Exchange rate noun phrase. The value of one currency for the purpose of conversion to another. Spelling EXCHANGERATE. Example 1. The exchange rate between the dollar and the yen has been fluctuating. Example 2. What's the current exchange rate for euros to dollars? 5. Volatility noun. The quality of being likely to change suddenly and unexpectedly. Spelling VOLATILITY. Example 1. Trade wars often lead to high volatility in the stock market. Example 2. The price of oil is known for its volatility. Adjective form, volatile. 6. Recession noun. A period when the economy of a country is not successful and conditions for business are bad. It is often defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth. Spelling RECESSION. Example 1. Many economists are worried that the trade war could lead to a global recession. Example 2. Many people lost their jobs during the last recession. 7. Safe haven noun phrase. An investment that is expected to retain or increase in value during times of market crisis. Spelling SAFEHAVEN. Example 1. The US dollar is often considered a safe haven asset. Example 2. During the crisis, investors moved their money into safe havens like gold. 8. Investor noun. A person or organization that puts money into financial schemes, property, etc., with the expectation of achieving a profit. Spelling INVESTOR. Example 1. The uncertainty is making investors very cautious. Example 2. She is a long-term investor, not a short-term trader. 9. Escalate. Verb. To become or make something become more intense or serious. Spelling ESCALATE. Example 1. The president's actions have escalated the trade dispute. Example 2. If the situation escalates, the UN may have to intervene. Noun form, escalation. 10. Intensify, verb. to become or make something become greater, stronger, or more extreme. Spelling: INTENSIFY. Example 1. The trade war has intensified in recent weeks. Example 2. The police have intensified their search for the missing child. Intensify and escalate are very close synonyms in this context. These words are essential for understanding any financial news report. Now let's look at the grammar we need to analyze these stories. Our first grammar point today is a very important one we have seen before: active versus passive voice. News reports use both, and it's important to understand the difference. The active voice is when the subject of the sentence performs the action. It is direct and clear. Example: President Trump intensified the trade war. Subject: Trump. Action: intensified. Example: Investors are selling yen. Subject: investors. Action: are selling. The passive voice is when the subject of the sentence receives the action. The focus is on the action or the receiver, not the doer. The structure is verb to be plus past participle. Example: The trade war was intensified by President Trump. The focus is on the trade war. Example: The yen is being sold by investors. The focus is on the yen. News reports often use the passive voice to sound more objective and formal. For example, instead of saying, "The government made a mistake," a news report might say, "A mistake was made." It removes the direct blame and focuses on the event. Understanding this helps you read between the lines. Our second grammar point is the language of cause and effect. This entire topic is about a chain of causes and effects. Learning the words that link them is a superpower. To introduce a cause, we often use because of or due to, followed by a noun. Example: Because of the trade war, investors are nervous. Example: Due to the increased demand, the dollar's value is rising. To introduce an effect, we often use as a result, therefore, or consequently. Example: Investors are nervous. As a result, they are buying US dollars. Example: The dollar has become stronger. Therefore, American exports are now more expensive. Example: The trade war has intensified. Consequently, the risk of a global recession has increased. Another great phrase is which leads to. This is a smooth way to connect a cause and effect in one sentence. Example: The trade war creates uncertainty, which leads to volatility in the markets. To finish our lesson, I want to share an inspirational story about how international cooperation, the opposite of a trade war, created one of the most peaceful and prosperous regions in the world. This is the story of the founding of the European Union. At the end of World War II in 1945, the continent of Europe was in ruins. It had been destroyed by two devastating world wars in just 30 years, both of which had started with conflict between its two biggest powers, France and Germany. The people were exhausted, and the economies were shattered. Many feared that it was only a matter of time before another war would break out. But a group of visionary leaders decided that they had to break this cycle of violence forever. French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman proposed a radical idea. He suggested that France and Germany, the historic enemies, should pool their coal and steel production under a common authority. Coal and steel were the raw materials of war. They were needed to build tanks and weapons. Schumann's idea was simple but brilliant. If the two countries shared control over the materials needed for war, it would make war between them not just unthinkable, but materially impossible. In 1951, 6 countries, including France and Germany, signed a treaty creating the European Coal and Steel Community. This was the first step. The goal was to make war impossible by binding their economies together so tightly that they could never afford to fight each other again. This first act of economic cooperation was incredibly successful. It led to more treaties and more integration. Over the decades, this economic project grew and evolved. It became the European Economic Community, and finally, the European Union. More countries joined. They created a single market, where goods, services, and people could move freely. Many even adopted a single currency, the euro. The creation of the EU is one of the greatest success stories of diplomacy and cooperation in human history. Instead of building walls with tariffs, they tore them down. Instead of engaging in trade wars, they created the world's largest free trade zone. This act of choosing economic partnership over national conflict has led to over 70 years of unprecedented peace and prosperity on a continent that was once defined by war. It's a powerful reminder that cooperation, not conflict, is the true path to long-term strength and stability. We have explored a very important and current global event today. Let's summarize our key takeaways. First, we learned how an intensifying trade war is causing fear in the global markets, leading investors to seek the safe haven of the US dollar. Second, we learned 10 essential financial vocabulary words, including trade war, tariff, recession, and safe haven. Third, we mastered 2 important grammar points for analyzing the news, understanding the difference between the active and passive voice, and using linking words to explain cause and effect. The story of our global economy is a story of interconnectedness. A decision made in one capital city can be felt by people all over the world. Understanding these connections is a vital skill in our modern age. Thank you so much for your focus and for joining me today at Grow English Mastery. Learning about these real-world events is a fantastic way to make your English skills powerful and relevant. Please let us know in the comments what you think about this topic. And please, don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel for more lessons that make sense of our world. Keep learning, stay curious, and I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson. Goodbye for now.